Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Behrns, and I will be reviewing an article that discusses the development of a taxonomy for success in commercial pilot behavior. I am the ghost author, and the main authors are Christine Kiernan, David Cross, and Mark Scharf, all part of the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Just for reference, I will be starting with the abstract in the top left corner and making my way to the bottom right corner for recommendations. My flow will go from top to bottom, left to right. Okay, to start, the purpose of the study was to analyze and identify successful behaviors in pilots that created system resilience in routine and normal commercial flights. And this system resilience was created with 4 key attributes, and each attribute was carefully analyzed through a qualitative case study approach that was based around incident debriefs among 16 commercial pilots. Human error accounts for nearly 80% of all aviation-related incidents and has been studied for a very long time. And that is to minimize every or as much incidents as possible. And throughout time, a lot of improvements have been made. These studies fail to look at one thing. They are so good at looking at the errors, they don't look at the successes. And that is what this study is all about. By using the Human Factors and Analysis Classification System, or HFACS, it looks into the successful flights and what those pilots do in order to assure a successful, safe flight. And understanding human performance and what pilots do in crucial areas of flight, that determines how a development of success can be attained in each flight, which in turn can decrease human error. For the methodology, each participant was asked a series of open-ended questions with follow-up questions in an attempt to examine various aspects of the participants through a process in correlation to the theory of resilient performance. And resilient performance, like I said, has 4 distinctions that create one result, or 4 attributes. And that is anticipating future events or situations, monitoring both its own performance and environmental factors, responding to the expected and unexpected events, and last but not least, learning from experience. And if you look in the middle in my first visual on top, that shows you the resilience theory. Learning was the most important, as it is starred and highlighted, and it just kind of goes through a flow that shows you how the resilience theory was used and what they found from this. So for anticipation, considering, comparing, and preparing, taking action in anticipation were 2 main factors with the results. For monitoring, it was routine monitoring and increased surveillance. Learning was formal and informal learning, and responding was discussing and deciding and taking action in response. And as you can tell, there are highlighted boxes in that visual 1. And in visual 2, the resilience theory of initial findings, it kind of goes into a little bit more detail as to why they are highlighted. For learning, you see formal learning, and that was through pattern matching and by connecting previous situations with current situations that those pilots were able to create a successful flight. And to keep going, anticipating and responding, they both took action. And for anticipating, the potential disruptions help them connect with previous situations with their current situations. Getting ahead of aircraft and minimizing risk. For responding and taking action, you run checklists, and by running those checklists, it's very simple and direct, and it helps resolve problems. By monitoring and routine operations, it's the known factors of those routine operations by gathering information on weather, crew climate, traffic, etc. Just things around you help you create that successful flight. And for results, it was found that having a healthy crew and coordination and being on the same page and not being afraid to speak up and building chemistry, all those things are a result of the successful flights and applying the resilience theory. Anticipation between some pilots made them aware of potential disruptions and took action to prevent the disruptions from affecting the flight. For example, if a thunderstorm was was forecasted, extra fuel was added to maximize holding time. The pilot's monitoring process showed there are routines in which pilots follow to gain as much knowledge about a flight, especially if it is a new route. This includes weather, crew rest, cabin environment, and traffic. As mentioned in the visual, responding meant that pilots would gather necessary information and decide which action to take. All pilots must learn from their experiences. Learning is a key to safe operation, and after each experience, pilots shared that both formal and informal learning took place and helped them make a safe and secure decision. It was also determined that each of these four attributes were not mutually exclusive, meaning that action should be taken from incidents for both anticipating or monitoring, for example. And after the research was concluded, it was found that resilience theory does have a credible application to aviation, and there are still lots of opportunity to advance student learning with the fusion of resilience theory. And some recommendations include providing more opportunities to create better learning environments for student pilots in aviation. This will enhance safety and improve the decision-making process, which in turn will create a more exemplified taxonomy for success. It is also noted that more work is to be required in order to have a better understanding of this taxonomy and how it can be brought into a teaching method for everyone in the aviation industry. That will conclude my presentation. Have a good day. Thank you.